All right, I'm not standing, I'm sitting here in Quintus's set. This is the House de Quintus. And this is the very desk that he uses, and we are on our soundstage here in Midlothian, Texas. And I am talking to you about season 3. We've got a big night planned while you are watching right now. If you don't mind, if you're watching on YouTube, for example, just type something in the chat. Type a question, because I will be taking your questions. Jonathan Roumie is going to be here. I don't know if you knew that. He happens to play Jesus, by the way. He'll be coming on later to take some of your questions, so you can start asking them now. You can even just type the number 1 if you want. Just tell us where you're from. But when you do that, when you chat in the chat on YouTube and on Facebook, same thing on Facebook, it starts to activate the algorithm, and that means that Facebook and YouTube go up. People are paying attention. People like this. They're engaged. Let's get it in front of more people. And there have been many, many people who have discovered The Chosen because of the fact that the live streams that we're doing right now get on their news feed or right in front of their eyes, and they go, oh, let me check this out, and they find us because of that. So thank you for participating in that. And while you're there, if you haven't done this yet, you can like the video that you're watching. You can click the subscription button, the thumbs up button, the notification bell on YouTube, whatever it is. If you happen to be watching in the Angel app or the Chosen app, there's not an algorithm that you can activate, but people do love to talk. So feel free to say something there as well and ask some questions. We've got people there who will end up texting me some of those questions. So please do that. Got a big night planned. I'm telling you, after a long day of filming. That's why I'm like a little bit sweaty, a little bit salty. Like I have the taste of salt all over me right now. My hair's probably a little bit funky. I really don't know. I don't pay attention all that closely, but it's been a long day of filming. I wanted to get right into this to talk to you. So, but tonight, big night. Jonathan's going to be here later taking your questions. I'm going to be taking some questions at the very end of the thing. I've got some frequently asked questions, and we've got a new scene for you. Yes, I'm going to show you the rough cut of a new scene from season 3. It's actually one of my favorite little moments of the season, so I'm looking forward to showing you that. We've also got an update on Gen Z. Remember our Gen Z doc that we did, I think it was 2 live streams ago, like a month or 2 ago. I don't even remember. If you haven't watched that yet, you should. If you're watching this live stream later, you should pause it and go watch the Gen Z. It's on our YouTube channel. But we did a video that was over an hour showing 9 random Gen Z strangers they had never met before. We selected them out of well over hundreds of people because we wanted people who would be authentic and who just watched the show completely unaware beforehand of what they were doing, what they were going to be watching. We wanted their unfiltered opinions of it, and we wanted to film that, and that's why we called it Unfiltered, and it got an extraordinary response, and so many people have asked, well, what are they up to? How are they doing since this experience? And we've got an update for you. We're going to show you a video that we filmed of 8 of the 9 of them talking about the experience and what has been going on in their lives and how their lives have been impacted from doing this documentary. And yes, I've also got some new gifts for you. And this has been one of the most frequently requested items, so I'm really looking forward to showing you that. So in just a moment, I will bring that out for you, but I wanted to start, as I often do, by reading something for you. I'll make this quick, but this is a note that we got recently. The handle, I think this came from Instagram, was Ellie Bean. And this is what she had to say. I thought this was really powerful. She says, I lost my son 5 years ago. I was devastated and broken with grief. A parent should not have to bury their child. I can't tell you the immense pain and panic I felt when the coffin was being closed for the last time. I stood by his side and tried to memorize every feature as my tears fell on his face. I put his favorite stuffed animal he had since he was little next to him. Since his death, I have struggled with my faith. I had held on to this anger, asking why? Why was he taken? I started to watch The Chosen. I've watched each season 3 times. I wept during every episode. I began thinking about how I have been feeling angry that God took my son. But while watching The Chosen, it hit me that God took his only son and that he was taken with much pain and suffering. I'm grateful that my son did not go through such violence during his passing. I hope that Jesus was there to welcome him and comfort him. I've never attempted to read the Bible because I find it difficult to understand. Watching The Chosen has helped me to understand the Bible because it is put into terms that I can understand and relate to, but it doesn't end there. And I am now reading the Bible and following along with the episodes of the show. Thank you for helping me to let go of some resentments, bringing me closer to Jesus, and strengthening my faith while processing my grief in a healthier manner. God bless. She probably wouldn't have seen the show if it wasn't free. And that's why I always love reading you these letters, because you help make the show free for others, and your support of the show and you're spreading the word of the show is what gets it in front of people like her and allows lives to be changed. So thank you for that. So I always want to give you that piece of encouragement. All right. So on that note, get this. These Yetis is its own thing. These are stainless steel tumblers, as they're called. And they're here. You've been asking them for a really long time. I didn't want to do them until we got something that was really great, that had something really important to say, that really was super high quality. And so we've actually got multiple. So we've got two different ones. This one says come and see. This one says get used to different. They both say the chosen. And we've got different sizes. Okay, so check this out. Then we've also got this guy. Okay, so these are awesome because we made sure that these are super high quality. And then also, there's the little, I didn't even know these really existed, but these are the stainless steel coffee mugs too. Now, here's the coolest part about these babies. I don't know if this is the coolest part, but it's up there. You probably can't see it on camera. That's fine. But if you look closely, you're going to see a fish, a chosen fish, right on the tab on each of these. Just a little special touch. But this phrase, get used to different, is on the teal. So we've got the different sizes. We've got the 32-ounce big bad boy. We've got the little mug here. And then, sorry, I just probably burst your ears. And then we've got the 20-ounce. Get used to different. And then this one says, come and see. I'll tell you, the come and see ones start more conversations than almost any of our other phrases, because people are like always wondering what exactly they're referring to. So you can get any number of these. There's bundle options. I don't even know what they are, but you can just check them out. So when you go to thechosengifts.com, hopefully that website has already been up there. www.thechosengifts.com. I'm not going to ask Jonathan to sing it later, just for me. Thechosengifts.com, you can check it out, and you can get more than one, and we got discounts for you and all that fun stuff. So I don't want to turn this into a big pitch session, but I was really excited about these because they finally came. We've been waiting for these for, almost a year, and they are so good, so strong. I've actually been using them myself for the last couple of weeks. They keep your cold stuff cold, your hot stuff hot, but more importantly than that, they have a message that will communicate to people something very important and start conversations. So anyway, thought you'd like that, thought you'd appreciate that. I'm excited about it. I love products, gift items that I actually use and think are really high quality. We never want to do anything cheap. We never want to do anything just for the sake of it, just because we can. We want it to say something. We want it to mean something. And then we actually want it to be something that you'd actually wear or use. That's really important to us. And these, the reason these took so long is because we wanted to get it right. We wanted them to mean something. So one more thing before I show you the Gen Z doc update. So we've got about a 15 to 18 minute conversation between 8 of the 9 folks from the Gen Z doc. The 9th one just couldn't make it for the shoot. But before I show you that, I want to give you another cool little opportunity. So as you may or may not know, and I'll have Colin, if you can, Colin, put this number across the screen right now. You can text me. So you can text me. It's not my personal number. I'm not personally able to respond to all of the texts that I get from the number I'm giving you. But at 214, I always forget it, so I have to read it. 214-239-1527. 214-239-1527. Write that down. Text that number, and it will get you to sign up. And this is totally free. I'm not asking anything from you. It's solely so that once a week or so, I'll give you an update. It's like a behind-the-scenes update from the set. Sometimes I'll give discounts on just exclusive discounts you can only get there. Behind-the-scenes info you can only get there. But this is just our way, my way of saying thank you. I just want to keep, if you want to keep in touch, I want to be able to give you some stuff that you're not going to get anywhere else. So just some updates and whatnot. And I've got something actually really cool that if you sign up tonight, actually if you've already signed up, it's fine. But tomorrow, you will get from me a sneak peek of season 3, a clip. It's like a little teaser clip, a little teaser trailer that's not going to be shown anywhere else. It's only going to be texted to you if you sign up at that number. Again, it doesn't take long. It's totally free. I'm not asking anything from you. This is not a pitch. This is just hey, I want to give you something cool. And so it's a way for me to kind of keep you updated. I also give prayer requests because right now we desperately need them. But I give those about once a week as well. But I'll give you this little teaser, little clip from the show. It's a little over a minute that I will text to you tomorrow exclusively. That's the only place you're going to get it. So sign up for that. It's going to be really cool. All right. So I want to get right to it. So as you know, after the Gen Z doc shows, I'm going to bring Jonathan out. We're going to talk about that because this has been pretty near and dear to his heart. And then we're going to take a few of your questions, and then I'm going to show you a new scene from season 3. But this is an update on the Gen Z folks. They had a conversation about what their lives have been like since the documentary, how the show impacted them, and it's really powerful. It was a really cool opportunity to get to hear from them. So let's show you that right now.
I feel like knowing that people are connecting with our stories, personally, it made me feel like wanting to speak up even more. It's weird, for such a long time, my anxiety told me if I spoke these things out loud that, it would be a reflection about who I am and more bad things would happen. And as I'm saying that, I know it makes no sense, but like anxiety just has a way of like making you believe the worst about yourself. So it's kind of empowering knowing that I spoke up, I'm still here, I can still like go along on my healing journey and be okay, and also encourage other people to do the same thing.
Yeah, and see, kind of along the lines of that is, like, for me, I'm very like closed off. I kind of keep everything inside, bottled up, so like just meeting every one of you and being so open with me has helped me kind of spill the beans. And I'm grateful for that. I think it was time to really like just get it off my chest so I can continue to move forward. And so I hope that, it really just does help people like myself to just get it off your chest, You'll feel a lot better.
It's absolutely nuts that we did not even know each other. Coming into this, like total strangers. And we just came together this one day, just started filming, and just bare all of our souls out that day, and I feel like we all just became like 0 to 100, no middle, and we just became super close, best friends in such a short period of time, because we were able to just show our true authentic selves just super fast, which probably would have taken probably months or even years with people we even know in our real lives. And watching it, it was equally heartbreaking as it was heartwarming, because it's my heart breaks, because I think now I know more to a more fuller extent of what each of us went through, and with the pictures and the cinematography. And so it's just I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry that's to the extent that we all suffered. At the same time, it's heartwarming because it's so hopeful, right? In a way, we all suffered, and at the same time, we all went through it. We're on the other side now. And so I think it just gives me a lot of hope. And if I was a third party, not knowing any of us watching it, I do feel it's gonna be something that's at least gonna stick with me.
I guess going off of that, it has also given me a renewed hope, just in life in general, but also it's made me dive deeper into my faith and trying to understand how to navigate mental health and having faith and not dealing with doubts. As you guys know, I had tried committing suicide 3 times, the last time being in 2019, and I finally was okay, you're not making my life great, God, but you won't let me die, so what is going on? I think had I not had this experience with all of you and got to make this family, I don't know if I would have made it through that. I have spent less time with all of you than I have my actual blood family, yet You know, they barely know me. You all know me a lot better. I think it's just insane how we've become a family.
We've seen each other like a total of 4 times. I think
Hearing everyone's stories, of course we connected like in that room, but seeing the individual one-on-one stories and those defining moments of each of y'all's life was hard because like I have so much love for each of you and I wanted to just support you in the best way I can. Everyone is going through something, you know, and you don't really know the trials and tribulations that people are going through behind closed doors, and you should just meet people, not necessarily, of course, where they're at, but also it never hurts to like extend kindness to everyone.
I think for me, this has been like a big, like it's this continuous learning and growth experience. Like I keep thinking like I got everything. Like the first time I was like, wow, that was like really amazing. And I think it's just, it's really made me think a lot about myself and the way that I'm identify with certain things that have happened to me, or how I talk about myself or think about myself. And being in a space where it felt so comfortable and so safe and welcoming that like none of us had any reservations really to like open up to each other was a good reminder that that's like I need to do more of that. When I'm not afraid of vulnerability and I let myself be honest and be true is when these amazing things happen and I feel this change, and it's just like I think it really came at a really important time in my life, and I could not be more grateful for it.
slightly different. I mean, I've usually been like somewhat open about my past, but I never really like dove as deep. Like I haven't really delved into like the ins and outs as much as I did like on this project and with y'all. And so that was definitely like helpful in terms of like the whole healing process and just like actually processing things that happen, and like especially like coming from an environment where it's like so like discouraged and where it's just like I was very much like, you know, shove it under the rug and like pretend it didn't happen and like just move forward. But like you can't really move forward without like addressing it and like talking about it and like, you know, processing.
One of my favorite, I guess, lines in the documentary, because I have a lot, but one that just I keep thinking about was something you said, Imani. And you were talking about your mother and you said, I wish she wouldn't use religion to hurt people. And I don't know why, but for some reason that just keeps sticking with me. Hearing the pain that you felt when you said that, it reminds me, you know, when I'm navigating my first time in Christianity, how I want to navigate it. So it just was one of those things that really stuck with me.
I feel like this project helped me kind of change how I define Christian, because for a long time, I allowed all the bad things that happened to me to make me like define, okay, that's what Christianity and being a Christian and the Christian experience is. But like, there are actually amazing people like Dallas, like Catherine, like the cast members we met, like the fans who were like really passionate, you know, and so loving. And I'm like, oh wait, this is also what Christianity is, and I can like accept that part as well. Catherine, and I know we can't look at you, so I'm gonna just talk to the group. Like it is, just meeting Catherine, and I know when I shared my history about like sexual abuse, and you just connected with me, and you made me feel so safe and heard, and you sharing your history. I had never had someone show up for me in that way, and I just felt so alone. And like, oh my God, girl, you know you're like my mom. Like I love you to death, and yeah, you're just amazing. Yeah.
Cast mom.
I'm a crier.
Meeting the cast, it solidified that this was, and I guess meeting the cast and the crew solidified for me that this was a great experience, because these were people that practiced what they preached. Mm-hmm. They were kind, they were loving, they were present, and they cared. and I watched them interact with the extras. I watched the way that Dallas really values his storytelling, and I was like, oh man, this is a project I can get behind, and it just solidified that for me.
Or I felt like an auntie and uncle situation when we met him and his wife. Like, they were just so sweet. Like, I don't know, I just want to like bare my soul with them.
You did?
Yeah, I did. I cried a lot. But yeah, I was very emotional meeting them. I don't know, just seeing like seriously, the worst people sometimes online are like the loudest, and you see like awful like representations of Christians. And so I was so hesitant to meet someone who like has created this like Christian or like this Christ-centered TV show, because I'm like, oh, like, you know, all the ideas or judgments that you could make about a person, and then meeting him and then that not being the case whatsoever, just having someone who's like super humble, I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. And also I should like self-reflect and not do those judgments anymore, you know? So like turn the mirror to myself.
They're doing things so accurately. Like, I love with film and in general, like historical accuracy. And instead of CGIing or doing camera tricks to get the feeding of the 5,000, they're like, no, we're gonna bring in 5,000, and it's gonna be our fans who are passionate, and we're gonna get them involved in this story. I respect that so much. That's so cool.
Well, and I think part of it, if I remember correctly, that like a lot of this is like crowdfunded, or at least it was initially.
Insane to
and
think
like,
about.
Typically when you think about that, it's like this, I mean, like for me, it's like, okay, so are they just like, give us your money and we're gonna make money off of it, but like they want to continue to make the community a part of it. And I was like, that really is so cool and unique.
When I was meeting the disciples, I was really confused in that moment. I don't know if anyone else was so confused. Yeah, but okay, they all came up, and then the first one was like, hi, I'm Luke. And then I was like, oh, they're doing their like disciple names, okay. And the next one was like, hi, I'm Yoshi. And I'm like, what disciple is that? Like, what disciple is that? I was so confused the whole time. And then one said he was Noah, and I was like, I think that was in the Old Testament.
That's the wrong book.
Wrong century. Wrong testament.
Yeah.
The fact that Dallas, like, you know, got on each bus after and was high-fiving everybody before they, you know, just to make it real personal, because they are out there working. It's very personal. It's, you know, it's making people a part of it, you know, and
Yeah.
clearly they love it, so.
I thought like what was kind of like surprising to me is like when they were getting like the last shot and like getting like the moonlight and stuff, and the cast was like giving these little speeches, I was like, they have been out here all day, right? Did they like, they were still so excited. Energy was still up, I think, and I don't just think they were like putting it on or something. I think that comes with being really passionate and having, I guess, like to be making art and to be putting something forward that you really identify with and you really have trust and faith in.
I've already put on like a couple of people. I've told them to download the app, and you know, a few of them have already reached back out to me and said like, this is great. Like, I see why you had so much of a like kind of life-changing thing happen. Like, because the way I explain it, it's happened within me. You know what I mean? Like it feels, I feel great. I feel like a totally different person. Like, I can be more vulnerable now, and I can cry when I want to cry now. And you know, it's because I always kind of really kept that to myself. And with you guys, like, I really feel comfortable, because as I said, you guys are like my family, and like I'm able to like really like, you know, express that, you know.
Yeah.
I love you guys, for real.
I love you so much.
And I can tell you, I have tons of friends who watch it and love it, and people that I've told about that they adore it now, so.
Yeah, I think it's been like, people are like, my friends and stuff will like ask about it, and I'm like, yeah, like we watched this show, like it's really cool, it's like kind of historical, and like it's about Jesus, and like, but it's weird because I'm always like, I don't think they're gonna like it, but I'm like, they know me and kind of my relationship with Christianity and how like some of my feelings about religion and it's really challenged that, and it really surprised me, and I think like, I mean, I know a lot of my friends have had similar struggles and similar experiences that have kind of pushed them away. And not to be like, this show is gonna help you and get that relationship back, but this is gonna show you a different way and kind of like balance that out. If nothing else, this show is about real people having real experiences and working through them in a really authentic way, and that's powerful on its own.
Yeah, and I feel like because it has those religious elements, people might be hesitant to watch it. But I would just say, like, just take a chance. Like, the worst you can do is, like, I don't know, waste an hour of your life. But the best that you can get is a story that can resonate with you, and hopefully you can bring forth, like, the joy and the positivity that we all, like, and that healing that we all got from it.
Yeah.
So I think that would be dope. I think Gen Z should watch it and would love it.
I think something big too in our generation is just like the need to feel seen, because I think there's like a big lack of that, and I think that's something important that The Chosen does, because not all of us are like religious, and not all of us are like practicing Christians, and one of the most impressive things about The Chosen is that it doesn't, like, you don't have to have that like sway in your life to enjoy watching it and to like get that feeling of hope and that feeling of like being seen, which, like, in entertainment it's like easy to like just go down holes and like dark holes, and like doom scrolling is called that for a reason, like,
oh, right.
and so it's like, it's nice to have like a piece of entertainment, like, I wouldn't watch it all the time or whatever, but like it's nice to like watch something and still get that sense of like hope for something better, and like that sense of being seen, even if you don't pull that religious aspect from it as well, like you can still relate to it. And I think it does a good job of not preaching in the midst of telling the story, because preaching is very much geared towards Christians and geared toward people who like believe in this like religion, and so it's like very much, it can benefit someone who believes and cares about that. Whereas this storytelling is just storytelling of a story that really is, it's hopeful, and it has like these elements of like, seeing and caring about people in a way that it's not often seen in large scale today.
And I think if with people like with Josephine and Ben, Imani, with everyone in the group that have experienced religious trauma and they've experienced some of the worst sides of Christianity, if you guys can show up to that show and find, pieces of healing in it and find good qualities in it and enjoy it, I think anyone could, though. I mean, you guys are some of the most extreme examples to me of like people that have been really injured by the church. And I think for you guys to find peace within the show and to find healing, I just think that says enough right there.
I think I don't want us to take for granted how hard it was to share all our stories, and in that, how much strength and vulnerability it took. We often joke like, oh, all we did was watch some TV and like laugh about it, but that's so not true. Like, to go through everything that we've been through and then be able to share about it like this and be able to be open and soft-hearted, like, that takes a really special person. And I think in watching the documentary back, I felt so blessed to be amongst all of you. You're all so articulate and open-hearted, and you've been able to come share. Like, we each have such different stories. Hearing people say I can resonate with each one of us just makes me so proud of being amongst you guys. Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because like, yeah, I mean, we did just come here like to watch TV together and like talk about it, and now like we're friends, and also like it's affecting like thousands of people like who are like, it's like not, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's just crazy. Like,
I think it's a real reminder that typically the two things that can bring humans together more than anything else are art and suffering. And, The Chosen brought the art and we brought the suffering.
yeah. That's one thing we're good at.
I love it. I just love it. And again, I want to talk about, just briefly before I bring Jonathan out, the fact that this opportunity that we have to get the show to people who otherwise probably wouldn't consider it. they probably wouldn't typically check out a show like this, is one that's expensive. It's one that requires a ton of work and effort because we don't have a big studio financing our efforts. We're not on a big broadcast network. This is the kind of thing that requires a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And so I want to thank you for what you've done to get us to this place, to get it in front of Gen Z. But this is where the work is. The reason we did this documentary and the reason we did the follow-up is we wanted to see, like, is this the kind of show that can connect? Can it connect to this generation that is oftentimes so cynical, particularly towards stuff of faith? And it's important to us to try to understand that. Now, to be very clear, we don't change anything about the show. When we're writing the show or making the show, we're not trying to appeal to any audience. We're not trying to appease anyone. We're not trying to avoid controversy or avoid getting displeasure from everyone or anyone, or we're not trying to get more likes or get more approval or anything like that. But sometimes the messaging, sometimes the outreach of the show, the way that we communicate the show to other people can depend sometimes on what audiences are looking for or interested in or not interested in. And we try to pay attention to that. Well, our efforts to try to get to Gen Z are something that we are in this for the long haul. We are desperately trying to get this show in front of people who wouldn't normally otherwise give it a chance, and maybe who haven't considered the stories of the Gospels before. Now, that doesn't mean we have some big agenda. Our agenda is simply to introduce people to the first century Galilee and to the people who walked to that time, and the fact that there was a man who changed the entire universe, because we do believe that he was the Son of God. And so we do want that to be part of the pop culture conversation. We do want a show like this to be taken in the same way that you see other shows, that sometimes you just go, well, even if I'm not necessarily a believer, even if I'm not someone with this background, I can appreciate this show like I would other shows. And then maybe it can take you one step closer towards a better understanding of the gospel. So we do hope that you'll continue to spread the word about the show. And if you do have the means, if you do have the desire to, if you are in this for the long haul and want to see this be kept free and given to more people and put in front of more eyeballs like the folks in this documentary, then we would ask you to pay it forward and to keep that in mind. But more than anything else, we just want you to continue to spread the word about the show and to let your enthusiasm for it break through. Now, what I want to do now is bring out Jonathan Roumie, because this was a pretty cool experience for him as well, to get a chance to meet these kids and kids. Shows you how old I am, calling them kids. But yeah, he also got a chance to meet them shortly after in fact, I think you watched the documentary with them together. So Jonathan, come on out. Come on down.
Hello.
Yes, Jonathan Roumie, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, guys.
You have
set this up here.
Yeah, Colin, are you happy with where we're sitting? Yes. Puff out the old.
Okay.
Just
little booster chair, maybe. I could just.
You sat in this very spot.
Oh yeah.
Right?
This is the same table.
Yeah, this is the same table where you sat across from Quintus.
Yes, Quintus.
One of my
good old Quintus.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, Jesus. Don't make me kill you.
Yes, that's actually pretty good.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
Yeah, so real quick, what we just saw, you got a chance to watch the documentary with them, to meet these kids.
Yeah.
You actually got to meet them on the set in Utah while they were filming. What was that like? Because I remember you telling me that it was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, it was lovely just to, first of all, to be asked to be a part of this. I have, as you mentioned, I do have a heart for the younger generation, and especially as it pertains to getting them acquainted or reacquainted or connected more deeply to faith, towards their faith, towards faith in general, or even introducing them to it, and just knowing more about who Christ actually was, and so to kind of introduce it to them in this way through the show. And to just see their reactions to the show that they probably wouldn't ever find any other way. It was just, I couldn't say no to that. And then to kind of get, just to have that little talk back session that we did, and to hear their heart, and to have the encounters that I did with a few of them, specifically Adrian, was a really personal kind of encounter. And I just, I feel like, God was working throughout this whole process and really, tugging at their hearts.
Yeah, and as they mentioned in the update, they talked about the connection that we've had and this kind of instantaneous thing that like when they've had with you and with some of the other cast and with Amanda and me and with each other. It feels like there's just something special that like called everyone together for a specific moment. But that moment happened in the documentary, if you haven't seen yet, near the end of it. One of the more powerful moments was, and this wasn't something that was planned. It's not something, we don't do that kind of stuff. This was something that just clearly felt like God was laying something on your heart with Adrian.
Yeah, I think in reality, I was actually talking to somebody else, and then all of a sudden this thing just hit me that I had to express this. I had to ask him some questions and express these feelings about what I was sensing from him and what he was searching for, and all of a sudden it became a conversation, and it just opened him up, and we talked afterwards. And I had seen him when we had watched the documentary with them, like, a few months ago. I had a chance to kind of have my own personal catch-up time with him, and it was just
off camera, just to get a chance to connect.
Yeah, and it was just profound, like how his life has completely shifted in a whole new direction, and he just feels like reinvigorated and re-engaged with life and faith and his family and in such a positive way. So it's such a blessing to be able to somehow be a part of that experience for him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate your willingness to connect with them, because they've given us such a gift by being authentic and by sharing their hearts and their experiences. So that was really cool. Yeah. So we've got some questions that have been coming in throughout the live stream. My team's been texting them to me. And so first one, questions for Jonathan. We got questions for Jonathan. We got questions for you and me at the same time that we can fight over.
Sweet.
Yeah. Amanda Otten asks, how do you mentally prepare yourself to play Jesus? That's a common question. I've seen you get the question a lot. I've seen people ask it online, but they're like, that's got to be a little bit of it's got to screw with your mind a little bit, that playing Jesus. We've talked about it ourselves a little bit, but people still ask.
The two most popular questions that I get are, what's it like to play Jesus, and have you met Jim Caviezel from The Passion of the Christ? and the answer to the second one is no. At
still
this
no.
point. Still no. It's been years.
I still haven't met Mel Gibson. Oh, no, I did. I actually met Mel Gibson, yes, but not because of The Chosen.
When did you meet him?
I got a chance to see The Passion of the Christ in his office before it came out.
What?
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
got like a
gosh,
little
way
special
back.
advanced screening, got to talk to him about it afterwards. So.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I once read on Twitter that if the film Jesus and TV Jesus ever met in person, the universe would implode. So I'm assuming that's why it hasn't happened.
Yes.
But we'll see. But what's it like? So how do I mentally prepare? You can't mentally prepare to play Jesus. All that I can do, all I continue to strive to do, is to be open to reflect the image of God through this medium of filmmaking. I can't take any more credit or try to assume any more skill than just bringing my humanity to it, and to try to just reflect the love of Jesus Christ through the character, and whatever God wants people to see about Jesus through me is what they get out of watching the show, and that's the best I can hope for.
Yeah, and there's actually a YouTube video, and I think it's in the app as well, the Chosen app you can check out. It's called The Weight of Playing Jesus, and where you and I talked about this early on. This is before the show had even come out yet.
Yeah.
This is before the show had done what it's been doing, but where we just talked, kind of had an authentic conversation about the whole experience. Because you and I, we would need to take a long time with this, but you and I started doing this years ago. And doing short films and vignettes.
2014.
For my church, and discovering this. How do we want to do this and walk that fine line between capturing Jesus' divinity and his humanity?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we started trying Jesus jokes and
That's right.
giving Jesus a sense of humor and all that. So, but we learned early on there was no way to feel worthy of doing it. You just have to kind of be surrendered to it. Sandy asks, is it difficult to maintain the same demeanor and emotion when scenes are filmed out of order and often far apart in time? So we experienced that today. I mean, just filming, but
this week it's like, this moment, and then the next day we film the moment that comes, days before the moment we just filmed yesterday. And that can be, I don't know how you feel, Dallas, but for me as an actor, it can be a challenge, because you're you're constantly having to try to keep track of where you were emotionally and the urgency and what your state of mind was. And so it requires a lot of planning and plotting out ahead of time and trying to keep track of it. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. You don't necessarily have to make grids and charts and stuff, but I think in the beginning, actors that have the opportunity to do, long form kinds of work like television, you want to organize your thoughts in a way where you're like, wait, I did this before I did that, so I have to feel like this, and I got to make sure that this scene matches the scene we did a month ago. And then you also have to rely on your director to say, like, no, it was a little more this or it was a little more that.
Yeah, I feel like that's more my job actually than even yours, is to maintain that objectivity so that you can really focus on the task at hand in the scene, and then I can go, let's bring it down because you've still got a ways to go later, which is not your job to think about.
Right.
That's the other thing, is to think about what's coming. And so sometimes my job is to go, you know what, let's not play that emotion yet because we don't want to give away the ending, or we want to give ourselves room to go somewhere. That's
a great question.
It's challenging, especially on a show, because on a movie you do it. It's over the course of a 90-minute story. This is 8 episodes.
Yeah.
So, but it's a great question.
That's why most television shows that have the ability to do this, they will film sequentially in order. But
one episode at a time.
Yeah, but we're not at that scale, I think, at this point. So it's harder for us to do that.
Yeah. Molly Norman, 1289. I don't think the 1289 is part of her real name.
No.
This is just her screen handle. What is your favorite part about filming The Chosen with all the other fun actors? So I think they see a lot of the BTS and they see a lot of laughter and they see a lot of screwing around. I like to say, like, we take the work seriously, so we don't take ourselves too seriously. Because I think if we brought the same weight of this content all the time onto the set, even between shots, I think it would just be overwhelming. So between shots and between scenes is actually like almost an exaggerated form of humor and jokes and screwing around a lot. But yeah, what's your favorite part about filming it with the actors?
I think some of the in between scenes, the in between the scenes is exactly what you're talking about. They're having a release valve. And being able to just kind of joke around and be lighthearted with the guys that are your friends, guys and girls that are your friends, and I think that's what I look forward to the most. Or scenes where if there's a bunch of them on screen, they're all having fun in between takes, and I've got like a 5-page monologue, so I'm like, I want to play with them. I can't. I got to study. I got homework for like 3 weeks. So I think that's the most fun is when I have lighter days or lighter weeks where I can just kind of clown around in between takes.
Well, you just mentioned this. One of the cool things is that I think all of you respect when one of you has a long monologue or a really emotional scene. I mean, everyone has had one at some point or another. So there's this kind of sense of, all right, you know what, today is Paris's day, and he's got an intense. Let's ease up around when we're around him. Let's kind of give him his space, and then and because you've experienced it, you understand what he needs or what Liz needs.
Yeah, everybody's really intuitive like that.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah. Okay. Melissa Krieger, 33. With The Chosen being as popular as it is, how do you handle the pressure and stress that comes with playing this role? How do you handle anxiety if it ever comes in? I think you face that especially after season 2. Season 2 seemed to take the show to another level.
Yeah.
And we'd been kind of playing in a sandbox, trying different things, and now all of a sudden, we go to Italy and we're swarmed outside the Vatican.
Yeah.
And you start getting people who are coming up to you. See, when people come up to me, they sometimes are saying thank you for doing the show. For you, sometimes there's an even extra thing that happens that kind of freaked you out a little bit.
Yeah, I try to keep it all in prayer first and foremost. But some days you just want to drive up to a mountain or someplace quiet and kind of. I really start to relate to this passages in Scripture where it says, "And Jesus went up to the mountain to pray," and Jesus went up to the mountain to pray by himself. And like, well, I kind of get that. I know probably why he did that, because it's not normal to be swarmed by people that are like, even just wanting to express, gratitude. It's not something I think people ever really get used to. So I think it's really good to just break away at times when you really need to just connect with God and nature, and that sort of brings the anxiety levels and the stress levels down for anybody, no matter what job you do. But especially when you're in the spotlight, it's another level that I'm still trying to get used to. So we'll see what happens.
The cool thing is that when
you
viewers,
deal with the same thing in your own way.
yeah, it's slightly different, but I think the cool thing is that when viewers express themselves in person, like when they recognize you in public, it's not like a celebrity thing. It's more of a gratitude thing, which is really cool. Like it's not. It's like a genuine, like, I want to express to you how much this has meant to me, which feels a little bit different.
It's super humbling. It's sometimes you just sometimes it gets to the point where you just don't know how to accept it, because it's just the changes in some of these folks' lives and the things that the show does for them and their loved ones, and when they're going through really tough times. And I had a guy come up to me in a parking lot, and like when I was out here once, just stopped me in the parking lot, and he just said, "I got to tell you, your show helped my marriage. Like me and my wife were like heading to Splitsville, and like somehow we got a hold of the show and we started watching it together, and then we started praying together, and then it brought us back together. And it's like, what do you say to that? It's like, praise God. It's just it's super humbling. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm pulling up. We got a note just the other day from a woman named Rachette. My mom is 88 and has advanced Alzheimer's. She's moving slow these days, as this is most likely her last birthday. I introduced the idea of watching The Chosen together this week. Yesterday we went to lunch, watched The Chosen, went to church, and then to dinner. Mom's enjoying the show so much, and it's helping her to recall scenes from the Bible. Reading anything is hard at this point for this reason. I am so grateful to the show and everybody involved. It's keeping the conversation of Jesus alive for her right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, shame on us if that ever gets old. We want people to express that.
No.
Okay, so this is questions for both of us. We'll just go through a couple, and then I'll let you go here, because we're not done filming this week.
No.
So yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Sorry if I look a little tired.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a long day.
Jesus needs some sleepy
time.
So Kate Frick 89 asks from Florida, so excited for this. A question for both of you. What were your Rose best moment and Thorn worst moment of filming season 3?
Oh, geez, I don't know how much I can say about either of those.
Worst moment, I think. Worst moments were, yeah. You don't answer the worst moment thing.
Does now count for either side?
Being asked to do a live stream after a day of filming. Gotta be honest. Funny story. We're living in it.
Well, since you asked.
So, leaving that aside, I think the worst moment, or the most difficult, I shouldn't say the worst, most difficult.
There was no worst moment.
Yeah, but the most difficult was out in the field for like a week and a half for leading up to the feeding of the 5,000.
Yeah.
The heat, and there's no place to escape. And so we have you'll see it in episode 7 and 8, which is really exciting. I mean, it's going to look incredible.
Yeah.
And big scenes that lead up to the feeding of the 5,000, and then there is the feeding of the 5,000. And having the thousands of people on set kind of became a balm in many ways. Like, they were so excited and supportive. But that week was, I mean, that was
an
stressful.
intense week. And there were all these other scenes leading up to the feeding of the 5,000 where there was pages and pages of dialogue. And that was the most, I'd say, difficult. I wouldn't say worst.
Yeah.
And then the Rose, I mean, there's a number of them that you'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, there's some beautiful stuff. I can't wait. It's going to melt your face off. It's amazing.
Yeah. This season is proving to be something. To be pretty special. There's some moments, I think, that are some of the most emotional or intense moments that we've had in the first 3 seasons.
Even just this week. This week's stuff that we shot was.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Yeah.
Emotional terrorism.
Emotional terrorism, for sure. Do you have a Kimasalan Melat?
God bless you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kimasalamelet.
Kamasalan. Is that one name?
I mean, it's a
Kimasalan
handle.
Millet.
It's a screen
Oh,
name.
okay.
So, yeah.
Kimasalan Millet.
Do you have a favorite scene from seasons 1 and 2? So I get asked this question a lot. So I've answered my favorite scene is episode 4 of season 1, the miracle of the fish, which is partly because I love how it all came together. I love the music of it. I love the joy of it.
It's a great one.
And the filming of it was so difficult and so weird, and with the big green burrito that turned into a catch of fish, and there's just so much about it that I love. But
I don't know how you can pick one.
yeah, but what's your favorite scene? If someone said, "Oh, show me," if someone asked you like, "What scene should I watch from seasons 1 and 2 that I'll really love?"
It's like if they said, "I got 10 seconds for you to decide, otherwise I can't watch the show," I'd probably be like, "End of episode 1." I just think it's the coolest way to introduce Jesus as a character in a TV show, and then everything that ensues after that, and then in season 2.
Remember when we were filming that scene, we knew the weight of it.
Yeah.
Because you and Liz and I all kind of were in 3 separate corners.
Yeah.
I looked at her and she was crying. I looked at you and you were crying and I'm crying. Because we're kind of going, if we don't get this right, the show's dead because it's the end of a challenging episode and we have to keep people watching and it also says everything. So yeah, that was the fact that it turned out.
We only knew we had 4 episodes at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then for episode 2.
Season 2. Yeah.
For season 2, rather, thank you. Wait, was one Woman at the Well season 2?
End of season 1.
And season 1. Okay, season
Yeah,
2.
you loved doing that one.
See, that was it was
She
great.
was great.
It was awesome. I think the episode 3, just the 15-minute shot of the disciples just arguing with each other, and then Jesus comes, be like, "Hey guys," and then they're like, what were we arguing about? It was just a great setup and a great payoff. Yeah. It was.
So Jonathan from Ornella, besides playing the role of Jesus, which other character would you like to play in The Chosen and why? I saw that question. I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting. And then they asked me, do you agree with Jonathan, or would you see him portraying somebody else?
It's interesting. We, as disciples, as actors, we were just talking about this question yesterday, and I'd say probably John the Baptist. I think would be a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
Just the fire and brimstone, just look kind of like crazy, wild man, on frontiersman.
Don't you think there's a little bit of John the Baptist in Lonnie Frisbee, the character you played? There's a movie that Jonathan filmed that's coming out early next year. It's great. And he plays Lonnie Frisbee, a true character. The name of the movie is Jesus Revolution. And it's about the Jesus movement in the 70s. And Lonnie Frisbee's a little bit of a crazy guy, crazy here. I could see,
total John the Baptist.
Yeah, I could
vibe.
see you being John the Baptist for that reason. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be fun to play.
Yeah.
David does a phenomenal job.
Yeah, David did.
But if I had to, if there was anything, I'm like, if I didn't get cast as Jesus, I'd be like, maybe John the Baptist could be kind of fun.
Yeah. So, final question. So, one question for me.
And do you agree with? So you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Once you mentioned that, I thought I could see that. Yeah, because it's hard to imagine anyone else for the disciples.
Yeah,
It's just so hard to imagine.
Yeah.
I'm asked, what made you choose Jonathan? This just goes back. I'll make this quick. But when we were doing a short film for my church based on the 2 thieves on the cross, and Jesus actually has a very small role at the end, just because we see all their backstories before we see him on the cross. And so I was casting for those 2 roles because they were important. And you auditioned for one of the 2 thieves and did a great job, but there were 2 other guys who were great as well. And I'm like, I don't have a Jesus. The people who were auditioning for Jesus just were not.
Cutting the mustard.
Anyway, yeah. And I said, but that Jonathan guy seemed to have a little bit of something. Let's try that. And 10 seconds into his audition, I was like, oh my godness. As I just said, oh my goodness. But I said, oh my goodness. And Jonathan just, it was instant. It was like it was amazing. And so that was the first of many things that we did together. So the final question for you, and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
What is the hardest scene you have filmed?
Oh, that's a good question.
I immediately think of, just not to answer for you, but when we were filming in season 1 and you were doing that sermon, you were preaching for the first time before the healing of the man who came through the roof.
I think not technically speaking, I think just emotionally speaking, psychologically speaking, it was right before the healing of the paralytic, doing the sermon that was mostly off camera, and it was mostly about the reactions, but realizing that for the first time I was actually preaching from Scripture, Jesus' sermons, and I immediately felt unworthy to be saying those words, and taking the figure of Jesus on screen, and I kind of had a minor panic attack, which you fortunately talked me off the ledge from, and then I just was kind of like, okay, all right, well, I'm here and somebody else isn't, so I'm here to do this, and we're here in this together, and we were brought together to make this together, and let's get on with it.
You were saying I'm struggling to feel worthy, and I was like, okay, this is a great moment for us to solidify that we're not worthy. Embrace this and surrender to it. Okay, so we're going to show a scene from Season 3. This is an excerpt of a scene, actually. It's going to come right in the middle of it, and it's going to finish before it's over. There's going to be a little bit of a cliffhanger. Sorry about that. This is a rough cut. So in rough cuts, the color correction hasn't been done, so it might feel a little bit dark, might feel a little bit rough to see at times. The audio isn't perfected. There's no music. I show this to you because you are a partner and a friend of the show, and then we're taking it down tonight at the end of the night because this won't be out on YouTube for long. If you're watching this a live stream later, I apologize. The scene isn't there, but we're only just keeping this up for a few hours. But I showed you. I don't normally show you rough cuts beforehand, but I showed you the clip, and it's a scene between you and Vanessa Benavente, who I know you love working with because the two of you she plays Mother Mary. And there's something
amazing.
special there.
We have great chemistry.
Yeah, for sure. This is from episode 3 of season 3, and I'll let you set it up.
But how much can I say? I don't know how much I can say.
That's probably fair.
Well, I'll tell you everything. But
Jonathan, as Jesus is coming, visiting his mother for a holiday. So he's at his home, his childhood home in Nazareth, coming to see her, and they're having this. He's after a long journey. He's finally gotten there late at night, and she's got challah bread, which is the traditional bread for the holiday that they're celebrating, and so you gues just have a little meal together before
little tete-a-tete, little meal.
Yeah,
little combo.
Yeah, and so here's a rough cut of an excerpt, but when we come back from it, you will be gone. You'll be going home to get some sleep.
I'll be sleeping.
Yeah, love you, brother. Thank you for doing this. Appreciate
Thank you so
that.
much. Thank you.
And we'll see you soon. And here is this moment from episode 3.
Enjoy.
All right. Sorry I had to cut it off. There's a few things that come later in the scene that are spoilers. I don't want to give them away. Just want to give you a taste. But I really love that scene. I love that moment. I think Vanessa and Jonathan are so wonderful. And the rest of the scene is really beautiful. And the rest of the episode is really cool. So I'm really looking forward to you seeing that. And thanks for putting up with it, for the fact that it's a little bit rough. But I think it gives you a taste. So hope you enjoy it. Hope you're kind about it. And but I don't normally show that kind of stuff, but I've been doing it the last few live streams just because I feel so grateful to you for being part of it. So before we wrap up, I got a couple more things for you. At the end of this, I'm going to answer. We've gotten some frequently asked questions, some questions that have come in pretty consistently. So I'm going to, at the end of this, answer several of those. But I want to also remind you of these are tumblers, basically, stainless steel tumblers of all different shapes and sizes. At thechosengifts.com, you can get some bundles, meaning you can get more than one at a time, and then you can save money by doing that. But this is really cool, really high quality. Really put a lot of time and effort into this. And just to remind you, this is the 32 ouncer. It says "Get Used to Different." It's in teal. We've got the mug that's stainless steel. The reason I'm missing the 20 ounce teal one is because I gave it to Jonathan before he left. That's his favorite, to that size, and he pointed out because it kind of fits in the car perfectly. So the 20 ouncer is his favorite. I like the big dog. I like I just there's something about this that just makes me feel like a man. This one says "Come and see," start conversation starter, and all of them. The little finishing touch, we put a fish right on the open and close tab. All right, so check that out at thechosengifts.com. Sorry about all the noise if this is too loud right next to the microphone. Also wanted to remind you real quick, you can text me. Colin, go ahead and put up that number along the screen. Text me at 214-239-1527, 214-239-1527. You text me, and tomorrow you will get a sneak peek of another moment from season 3. This is from actually episode 2. This will be this is an excerpt from episode 2, and it's coming to theaters. Episodes 1 and 2 will be out in theaters in the fall. We're doing a special, the TV shows don't do this, but we do. Get used to different, baby. So episodes 1 and 2 will come out as like a movie in November. That's the current target, is November 18th. Next month, we'll do a live stream where we'll offer tickets, and then we'll have for sure a date locked in. Right now, this is what we're going for, but anything can change, especially with The Chosen. So stay tuned for that for more info. But tomorrow, if you have texted me and signed up for this little text community where I give you updates, I will release a little 1 minute, 20-second little teaser from season 3. So do that. And then you saw the Gen Z update, and I'm trying to think of all the things I want to recap with you. All right, so before you go, I want to point out something to you. So Angel Studios, which is our distribution partner, they have another project, one that I've actually been a little bit involved in. I'm actually one of the executive producers on it. And it's a movie, not a show. It's called The Shift. And they had scheduled a live stream for tonight, and they had scheduled it like half an hour before ours. And we didn't notice it. We didn't put the pieces together. So we schedule a live stream. We let everyone know. And then one of the producers, Justin Overlander, who used to be involved in The Chosen, you may remember Justin, let me know. He's like, hey, our live streams are now conflicting. What can we do about this? And I thought, all right, how about we'll keep our time, but we're going to tell people about your live stream so that when we're done, they can go watch yours. So when we are done here, I'm going to stay on and answer a few more frequently asked questions. You don't have to stick around for that, but here's what I'm going to ask you to do at some point tonight when we're done here, when you're done. If you are going to watch the Shift live stream, which they've got some special guests, they're going to announce some cast members, some brand new cast members, some of whom I promise you will know. Trust me. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod. They're going to introduce some cast members that you know and that I know. Hint, hint. Okay? So they're going to talk about the movie, and I'd love for you to hear more about it. It's actually a really, really cool project. So the live stream, if it hasn't started already, because I've lost track of time, it might have already started, but you can still watch it from the beginning if you want. If you're on Facebook, you're going to look up The Shift. So just go to Facebook, search for The Shift, and you'll go to their page. If you're on YouTube, you're going to go to the Angel Studios page. So they do their live streams through the Angel Studios YouTube channel. So you just look up Angel Studios, look up The Shift, and you'll be able to see that live stream. If you are on the Angel app, so if you're watching this on the Angel app right now, you just go to the homepage of the Angel app, and you will see the live stream right there. Just check it out. See what you think of it. See the opportunities that they've got for you. But it's actually a really cool project. And we want to see more projects like that out there. And you can be part of it. So make sure you check that out when you're done with us. Okay, so some frequently asked questions. I'm going to go through these quickly, and then I will let you go. Number one, how is season 4 script coming along? So as you may or may not know, while we are filming, I go home at night, and sometimes I even do it in between scenes or during my lunch break, but I'm editing season 3 so that we can get it out to you as soon as possible. And I am also working on the scripts for season 4 with my co-writers, Ryan and Tyler. Ryan and Tyler write the first drafts of the scripts after we've come together with an outline and a story and all that. And then I come in and I do my version of the scripts. And right now, we are on track to have all 8 scripts, the first drafts or the second drafts of all 8 scripts done by the end of September. And then I will be able to get my work done so that we can go into filming season 4 as early in 2023 as possible. Still working out the dates of that, but we want to keep moving. So now we want to get on a schedule of doing 1 season per year. We know that the wait between season 2 and 3 was long. A lot of reasons for that, from the set construction being delayed because of supply chain issues, to the scripts, to the fact that we wanted to do a big Christmas special for you. All of those reasons came together and caused us to unfortunately have to delay season 3, but we don't want to do that again. So from now on, the plan is, in fact, we're working out the schedule for the next 4 seasons. The plan is 1 per year. Will there be more Bible roundtables? This is very important. If you have not seen our Bible roundtables, I'm telling you, write a note, do it. in season 1 and season 2, we have done these biblical roundtables where we take our biblical scholars, we have a Messianic Jewish rabbi, we have a Catholic priest, we have an evangelical scholar who give us kind of their perspectives on the stories of the Gospels that we're portraying. Now, I'm an evangelical. Our primary evangelical scholar, who's Dr. Doug Huffman, close friend of mine, the show comes from an evangelical perspective, but we love to talk about these issues, talk about even debate. Sometimes we disagree. We love talking through that. But we've got these 3 biblical consultants, historical consultants, religious consultants to give kind of the lens that they see the show and they see the stories of the Gospels. And after every episode, we did a roundtable where I talked to the 3 of them. They're fascinating. You get to learn so much, and you get to even learn about the areas where you disagree. It's really, really cool. So season 1, the roundtables are in the app. The season 2 roundtables, if they're not in the app already, they will be there soon. But they are currently in the special edition DVD. So if you get the special edition DVD of season 2, they're also on season 1. You can get our season 2 Bible roundtables. But I love these, and yes, we will do those for season 3 as well. Plan to do those for every season because they're really, really cool. How is Megan? Okay, so really good question. So as you may know, from several months ago, we did a live stream featuring a girl named Megan who is dying. Her body is failing her, and she is in the process of slowly and at times painfully dying. But she had an extraordinarily traumatic upbringing, a traumatic past for most of her life. And The Chosen was part of changing her life, particularly the story of Mary Magdalene. And so we did a video about that. It's called Megan's Story, I think. I'm blanking on the name of the video. But if you look at on our YouTube channel or on the Chosen app, you'll be able to find this video. And she just shared her heart, shared her soul with us. And she is actually still with us and is currently just so grateful. She unfortunately couldn't pass on that message, or she couldn't film the message herself, but she wanted me to pass on just how grateful she is for your prayers, for your support. It was a very, very powerful experience, the video that we did about her. And so she's just been so grateful for your support and for your prayers. And she's still with us, but it's been a struggle, no question. Will there be a Christmas special this year? Unfortunately, no. The good news is, though, it will be because episodes of The Chosen are coming out. So we don't have time or capacity or money to do a Christmas special this year, and we also don't want it to compete with the actual show itself. So last year we did that Christmas special for you and did that Christmas episode. If you haven't seen that yet, you really need to. It's Chosen canon. It's part of the show, and we did a special brand new episode of The Chosen. It's in the app right now. And it's called The Messengers. We will not be doing anything like that this year. We won't be assembling our usual crew of worship leaders doing extraordinary Christmas songs. We'd love to do that again in the future because it always goes over so well, but we won't be doing that this year. What is a soundstage? Interesting question. Well, I'm sitting on one right now. This is a football field-sized soundstage. A soundstage is something that's built specifically to be quiet. So right now, when I'm talking to you, we have the air conditioner off. The soundstage is absorbing the sound, and so there's not an echo. There's not. So it's essentially it's built for the purpose of capturing sound and video in a controlled environment. And we've almost always been in uncontrolled environments. In fact, earlier this season we filmed in a quasi sound stage, except it was bad for sound, but it was a warehouse. It had awful sound, awful acoustics, but we had no choice. We finally now have a sound stage that we can use exclusively here on the Salvation Army property here in Midlothian, Texas. And so a nonprofit was assembled and for the purpose of supporting the show and for getting this soundstage and the set built. And so we get a chance to use this soundstage from this nonprofit in partnership with the Salvation Army, who's been so extraordinarily generous. So I'm sitting on it right now, and we've gotten a chance to film some scenes in season 3, and we'll be able to use this a lot in the future. Final question, final frequently asked question. Where does my money for PIF, Super Chats, and gifts go? All right, very good question. We get that often. So I'll close with this. When you pay it forward, that is the option that you have in the Chosen app and at thechosen.tv. To pay it forward, that is essentially your optional payment for the show. We do not require you to pay for it. In fact, well over 95% of the people who watch The Chosen never pay for it. They watch it for free. And there's probably anywhere from 2, 3, maybe sometimes 4% of the viewers, probably closer to 2 or 3% of the viewers who actually choose to pay for it. It's called pay it forward. Now, that's a term and a concept that Angel Studios came up with for the show, whereby you are actually paying it forward, meaning you're allowing it to stay free for other people. And so you choosing to pay for the show, it's not a tax deductible thing. It's not an investment. It's just simply your optional payment for the show. And some people choose to pay for a large amount so that more people can see the show for free. But it's just our way of financing future episodes and seasons, and it's our way of ensuring that the show stays free. So for now, the way to pay for the show is through Pay It Forward. And that money, there is some taken off the top for marketing. There's always a percentage of that goes towards marketing the show. Otherwise, if we didn't market the show, obviously people would know about it. So even when people say it came across my Facebook feed, a lot of times that came because we paid for that. That came out of Pay It Forward. So a certain chunk of it comes out right off the top for marketing. Then there's some overhead costs that go towards Angel for some of their distribution costs. But everything else goes towards, I shouldn't say everything, but the vast majority of it goes towards production. We at The Chosen do not take any of Pay It Forward money for our own operating expenses for our company, The Chosen LLC. That's the company that basically, 50 employees or so, and it's the thing that operates year round. We want all of the Pay It Forward money to go towards production. So that is the actual filming of the show, and that's the cast and the crew and the equipment and all that stuff. The months and months that we film every year, and then the post-production, all that, extraordinarily expensive. We put the budget, or our targeted budget, on in the app so that you know where it's going, but that's where a large chunk of the Pay It Forward money that comes in goes directly towards production. Then there is Super Chats, which is a small amount, but that's something that you do when you're watching it on YouTube. YouTube gives you an opportunity to essentially give money to the YouTube channel. So you see a little $sign. I don't usually talk about it much. People just sometimes see it and they just give. A lot of times we take that money and it just goes towards keeping our YouTube channel going and the equipment that we use. I remember last year we did one where we just took all the money and gave it to the actors, just because the actors, this isn't a show that has a big studio, huge budget and network. And so for a show that's as popular as ours is, we're actually quite low budget, significantly low budget. And we're hoping to in the future pay our cast and crew even more. And so sometimes we like to give bonuses where we can, and we did that once. But anytime you just want to support the YouTube channel, support the opportunity for us to just do more like this, to do these live streams, that's an opportunity on YouTube to click that Super Chat button. And then the final that they asked about is the gifts. That's where, of course, there's our distributor gets some, and there's overhead costs. But then for the Chosen side of things, we use that money for our company, for our employees, for our operating costs, for the equipment that you're using, that you're watching right now, that we're using for the live stream. For our behind the scenes team, all of that. We do not want that to come from Pay It Forward money. We want that to come from gift money. So if you want us to keep going, you want us to keep building as a company, you want us to keep being able to offer you these free live streams and all that behind the scenes content, our social media team, which is extraordinary. We have a huge social media team whose dedicated job it is to make sure that they're trying to respond to as many of your comments as possible, to keep the pages active, 4, 5, 6 posts per day on all of our channels, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. We do behind the scenes videos and post content constantly. And that is a full-time job for many, many people. And so if you want us to keep doing that, want us to keep giving you that behind the scenes, that comes out of gift costs. So gift income. So hopefully that makes sense. And I just can't thank you enough for tuning in tonight. Remember that your job is not to feed the 5,000. Your job is only to provide the loaves and fish. And you're doing that by watching this live stream. You're doing that when you pay it forward, when you purchase gifts, but more than anything else, when you spread the word about the show. I care so much about you and about the future of the show and about your ability to know and love Jesus more because of it. God bless you.